everyone, this is Samantha from the Dancing Soap Dish. I hope you're well. Take a look at these gorgeous little soap bars I've just created. I'm calling them my Easy Peasy Lemon Squeezy soap bars because they were so easy to create and they are lemon scented. So let's take a look here. It's a 2-layered soap. There's a white layer and a yellow layer on top. And on the surface, they are textured with this amazing daisy design. Cute little daisies and some pretty foliage, and I'm going to show you today how you can make them. So this tutorial is part of my special series on super simple textures for melt and pour soap making. You can check out the rest of the videos in this series in a special playlist on this channel. Okay, so the secret to the simple yet elegant daisy design that I've got on these soaps is this large background stamp. So this is a silicone stamp used for card making. So you're supposed to use it in conjunction with some inks and stamp it onto a piece of paper and make yourself a beautiful background to use on a card. It comes between 2 pieces of acetate. I'll just peel them both back here to show you what the stamp looks like. Yeah, because that print there is actually just on the acetate. So here it is. It's just a clear silicone stamp. It's about 5.5 by 5.5 inches or 14 by 14 centimeters. Now, if it looks familiar, it's because I have used a similar stamp before. This one here that I used last Christmas. For that design, I did the design in between 2 layers of soap. The same design would absolutely work for this stamp here, but today I'm going to show you a slightly different technique where the texture is embossed on the surface of the soap. Now I'm going to be pairing this stamp today with a 6 by 6 inch square mold, and as you can see, the mold is a little bit bigger than the stamp, so I will have some area around my soap that's not embossed. I'll be trimming that off and I'll show you something else you can do with that excess. Today also I'm going to be using some double-sided tape. So this is a very thin sort of sellotape like double-sided tape, and I'm going to use it to stick the silicone stamp down to the inside bottom of the mold. Now silicone normally sticks to itself pretty well, but I find if you're going to pour like a lot of soap base on top of a stamp, it's best to stick it down, because the more soap base you pour on top, the more chance you have of that silicone stamp trying to float, and it might lift from the bottom and float upwards, and then your soap will be ruined. So I've put a little bit of the double-sided tape on the back of this stamp, mostly around the corners, and now I'm going to position the stamp inside my mold. You can aim to try and put it in the center, but it's very hard to do, and then when you're trimming it, you also have to trim all 4 sides. So what I like to do is I like to just line it up flush with one of the corners of the square, and therefore you can make sure it's nice and straight sitting against each edge. There we go. I'm going to push it down, and then you can see I'm only going to need to trim it twice, just along 2 edges rather than 4. So that's my preference. I'm going to push it down here, make sure that my double-sided tape is well and truly stuck, and also push out any air bubbles that are stuck between the silicone mold and the silicone stamp. There we go. And once you are satisfied with that, then you're ready for the next step, which is soap. Okay, so I'm going to weigh out my first layer of soap, which will be for 300 grams. I'm making a 600 gram block of soap in total, so 300 grams per layer, and then I'll be cutting it into 4 bars. So I'm just weighing out 300 grams here of white melt and pour soap base. I'm going to melt it in the microwave until there are no little chunks left. Here I am, I'm just spooning through it, just making sure there's no little chunks in there. I'm going to add some yellow soap making pigment, just maybe 3 drops to begin with. I'm looking for a nice pastel lemon yellow color. That's coming up quite nicely. Maybe a couple more drops, just a little bit brighter. Yes, I'm happy with that now. And I'm also going to add a beautiful lemon fragrance. Now there's tons of beautiful lemon fragrances or variations of lemon fragrances, essential oils out there. Today I'm using lemon essential oil, which I've just added now, and I'm stirring in thoroughly. So you can use whatever your favorite lemon scent is. Okay, I'm satisfied that that's all mixed in nicely. I've also got some isopropyl alcohol on hand, just spraying down my silicone stamp. And I'm going to pour a little bit of the soap and spray it again, and this just helps the soap to move into all the nooks and crannies of the stamp, and also pops any bubbles that are sitting on the surface, because I don't want any bubbles, trapped on the surface of the stamp, because that will ruin the texture that I'm going for. But after that, just pour in the rest of your soap. And one more spray with the alcohol to get rid of bubbles there, which you see it does very efficiently. Okay, now this is set. It's still a bit warm, but it's set to the touch. I'm actually going to use this same jug again, because I'm using the exact same soap base, and I'll be using the exact same fragrance. So I'm weighing out another 300 grams of white melt and pour soap base, which again I will melt in my microwave until there are no little lumps left. I'm not coloring it this time, but I will be putting the same amount of fragrance in. So my lemon essential oil again, making sure to mix that through thoroughly. So it's not as bright a white as it was, just because I've got a little bit of the yellow that was left over in the bottom of that jug, and also the lemon essential oil had a slight yellow tinge to it too, but it's still a beautiful white color. I gave the surface of the yellow layer of soap a quick spray with the alcohol, and now I'm just pouring the white layer on top of it, straight in there, and another spray with alcohol to remove any bubbles. Okay, now this is a couple of hours later. It is set to the touch. It's probably still a little bit warm. Ideally, I would leave this overnight, but because I'm filming a video and I wanted to get it finished, I'm demolding it now, but it is still quite soft. I've just put down just a piece of parchment paper to demold it onto. Now you do have to maybe press a little bit more than you would, because I need to break the seal of the double-sided tape with the mold. So I'm just giving it a bit of a knead on the back here. I'm trying not to push too hard because my soap is still a bit soft. But as long as I make sure the sides are separated really well, and then I can sort of push the soap out. It is because it is probably not fully set. It's a little bit tacky, and so it's sticking to the sides of the mold. If I was demolding this the next day, it probably wouldn't be this tacky. It wouldn't be giving me this much trouble. But I just want to show you that sometimes demolding is just, a process that requires patience, and just keep working at it, easing your soap out, and you'll eventually get there. So there we go. Okay, so here is my soap with the silicone stamp attached. The double-sided tape is still stuck to the back of the stamp, but as you can see, it's very easy to get off. I'll be able to maybe remove all that a little bit later. There's a little bit of soap here, wispy bits that have sort of snuck in under the stamp where there wasn't any tape. And that's the sort of thing that would make your stamp start to float. So it was a good thing that I did tape it down. And now I'm just making sure I can ease this stamp away. There we go. Stamp's still in excellent condition. Just pull back these wispy bits here to reveal the beautiful texture that I have on the surface of my soap. I just love daisies. Don't you love daisies? All right, so I'm going to trim my soap now, just along the edge here. Just lining it up, just eyeballing it. And I'm going to push down here. You know what I did? I used the wrong side of my soap cutter. See how one side is fully straight and the other side sort of has the side pieces jutting out. What I've done is I've taken a bit of a nick out of the corner of my soap, which is unfortunate. But anyway, there you go. There's a lesson in using the correct side of your soap cutter. So this is what I should have done. I should have lined up this fully straight side here and used that to cut. Again, because it's still tacky and it's still a little bit soft, it's not as easy to cut through as it would be. And also, you know, the soap is sticking to the metal blade, which is quite common. So I'm just going to ease it away. So I've got this little bit of excess soap here that I'll need to find something to do with. But here is my big block right here. How pretty does that look? After a bit of a trim up, it's going to look fantastic. Okay, so here we go. So here's some excess soap here. There's a fair amount. I definitely want to reuse that and not waste it. But what I'm going to do first is I am going to just finish cutting my block of soap into 4 soap bars. So I'm just measuring out. This soap is now 14 by 14 centimeters, almost exactly. So I'm going to work in centimeters because it's easier. So I'm just drawing a mark here at 7 centimeters to cut it in half. Normally I do it on the back, but because it's a little bit soft, I don't want to squish my design when I do my cutting. But because I'm using the front, I'm making these little marks here, and then I'm actually losing them in the busyness of the design of the daisies. So I'm trying to find that mark I just made so I can line up the ruler, and I can't see it. Alrighty, I found it. So here I am. I'm just going to use my cutting blade to cut through there, making sure to avoid those bits at the end of the blade that might cut into my edge, but that's okay. That came out beautifully. And I'm going to measure this out again. So my soaps are going to be 7 by 7 centimeters square, which is a really good size, I feel, for a bar of soap. A lot of my soap bars, you know, my round soap bars are around that size in diameter. So it's a good size to hold in your hand, not too big, not too small. A nice thick bar here as well. So there we go. Look at that. I now have 4 beautifully embossed bars with my daisy, my pretty little daisy design. Okay, so I found some other little molds here that I'm going to use for this excess soap that I have. These cute little flower molds. These are like little sort of jelly cups or baking cups, but I find they make really cute little guest soaps. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cube up these 2 strips of excess soap that I have, and I'm going to melt them down again and make some little floral guest soaps, keeping with my floral theme today. So there we go. Just make sure, especially when your soap's really tacky like this, just make sure that you pull any of the cubes that are stuck together apart, because you really want your it helps your soap to melt more evenly if your cubes are around the same size, which is especially because we're melting this a second time. I do run the risk of sort of overheating it. So I'm going to melt it very slowly and very evenly. So here we go. There we are. So now we still have a beautiful pastel yellow color. It's a little bit lighter than my lemon bars, but still a really cute little color. Still got the gorgeous lemon scent there. And now I'm going to just quickly pour it into these cute little floral silicone molds. Here we go. I think these bars are sort of around 30 grams. So yeah, so they are a smaller bar. Like I said, perfect for a guest soap. But yeah, just a cute little floral design. They make the cutest little flower soaps. I just love them. All right, I spray with alcohol to get rid of those bubbles. All right, so everything is set now. I'm going to unmold my little flowers. They're a little bit wrinkly on the back because I had to move them shortly after I poured them, so they got a little bit wrinkled, but that's okay. Let's pop this one out here. I think this one is a sunflower. Yeah, look at that. What a cute little sunflower. Now another little sort of chrysanthemum and a little, just a happy little flower shape. And this one here is a daisy. There we go, another daisy. Keep with my daisy theme. Aren't they cute? Look at that. That is a cute little soap. And it smells divine. I always wish in these videos you could smell them because this, you know, the fragrance of a soap is a big part of what makes, you know, soap so appealing. Alrighty, now I have cleaned up my square bars a little bit by cutting off sort of some of the frayed edges. But what I want to do now is I want to bevel them. So have a look at this contraption. I got this for Christmas. I haven't really had a chance to use it yet. It's a soap cutter. But if you turn it over, on the back it has this sort of exposed blade and these two little grooves in it. And what it is the underside of this soap cutter is actually a soap bevel. So what you do is you just grab your soap and nest it inside the groove and just push it into the blade. And it creates a beautiful beveled edge, just like that. And it goes through, it's just like butter. You know, melt and pour soap, when it's set, can actually be quite hard. But this is a very sharp blade and it is just slicing through this soap so easily and making these edges even and smooth and nicely beveled. And look how neat that bar of soap looks now. I'm also going to do the white layer. I'll bevel those edges as well. And I think I might even, just for fun, I might bevel the corners and see what kind of effect we get there. Let's have a look. Okay, look at that. Just lovely. We have a beautiful two-layered soap, beautiful lemon scent, a gorgeous daisy embossed design on the surface. That is just a very elegant yet simple bar of soap. So easy peasy to make, but really striking. It's just so pretty. Okay, so I'm just going to skip ahead to where I have finished beveling each of my 4 bars, because I just want to show you here the shavings that come from the beveling here. Got these cute little coloured coils of soap right here, just left over from all the edges that I've beveled. They'll be fun to use in something too. Look at that. Aren't they cute? Well, I really hoped you enjoyed my tutorial for easy peasy lemon squeezy soap bars and the cute little floral guest soap bars that we got out of them as well. I really look forward in the future to sharing more super simple textures for melt and pour soap making with you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you love what I do. And until next time, enjoy!